In Illinois, fall hallmarks a change in season. Sometimes in the south, say Florida or lower on the equator, you might not notice a change except for temperature. The bottom line is that in its worst presentation in the north, people will be caught suddenly because they weren't ready for cold temperature. The idea is not to wait until that cold temperature hits and it's hard to chop wood or hang lights on your house. It's to get ahead of it, prepare for the change. The same thing can be said of seasonal affective disorder. If you wait until you're deep into a change of season to make the changes, to help your body adapt to circadian rhythm, you'll probably be manifesting your other previously controlled problems in full force. And then you have to constantly be behind. By the time you catch up with taking care of adjusting your time schedule, your sleep, your eating, it might be deep into December, January, and then you have to prepare for springtime. So my suggestion is you get ahead of it. Sometimes the easiest way to get ahead of it is to, for 2 to 3 weeks, try to rock your rhythm, your circadian rhythm, into the new cycle. When the sun starts to drop earlier and rises up later, sometimes the body, the mind, the soul will need a little bit of nudging to say it's not summer anymore, we have to adjust. And that sometimes is the easiest thing to do. You just change around and reinforce your sleep, melatonin, 5-HTP. You also change or reinforce your wake, rhodiola, ginseng, getting out and exercising. I don't really like exercising during the evening time. I think it's better during the day, but everybody has their reasons. If you can, exercise during the day. That'll take care of the adrenaline response that you sometimes manifest. If you can't even do that, then at least for 2 to 3 weeks, try to practice some form of getting out to nature. Nature therapy, as I always tell my patients, is easy because most people can just pull over their local forest preserve, nature center, ocean, lake, and just sit there for about 10 to 20 minutes twice a day, or at least once a day. If you open up that activity, it at least gets the body calm, so that during deep winter when it's cold and stress comes up, you're prepared for it. The activities that you do, if you can switch them more for daytime instead of nighttime, that'll also help keep you awake. Your food intake should be mostly proteins during the day and carbohydrates at night. The carbohydrates you eat, especially a heavy carbohydrate meal, will start that insulin response, or at least trigger an insulin response that sometimes gets you more prepared for deeper sleep. Protein sometimes wakes you up. Those are very fine details that can be weaved into the paleo, the Atkins, the Ornish, the Pritikin, any diet that you like to follow, even FODMAPs, can sometimes be just tempered for about 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, during this beginning of fall, we have already made some changes, and you won't have your world rocked as hard. Allergies will not be so bad. Insomnia won't be so bad. Trigger points and back spasm won't be so bad. Your arthritis won't flare up as much. Your depression won't be as bad. Blood pressure, everything. I think it just helps to get ahead of it. The other thing to consider, again, is a relaxation practice. If you don't meditate, then that's fine. But if you like to consider doing it, then I'll leave a link to how to use your breath. There's different forms of meditation that sometimes can be started over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And sometimes if you like what you experience, then you continue on until springtime or for the rest of your life. If you don't, then at least you did 2 to 3 weeks, and now you can go back to other forms of relaxation. You always have to develop some form of relaxation. You just have to find one that's sustainable and experiment with it. So there are also other things you can take advantage of as far as herbals or supplements to tell the brain it's nighttime and tell the brain it's daytime. If you don't have a practice of taking melatonin or 5-HTP, it might be time to start, and I'll have links to my previous talks on ensuring good sleep. If you don't have a practice of taking your vitamins or, say, wakeful supplements during the day, then it might be time to start that too. Some of my patients, and truck drivers especially, will say, well, I usually wake up when I get on the road. And no question, fight or flight response and the stress response is going to get you awake, but it also increases cortisol, and cortisol leads to insulin dumping later on. It just is not the way you should start your day or reset your circadian rhythm. There are other ways to do it that'll make that exposure to stress in the morning more tolerable, so it doesn't affect your blood pressure medicines, your cholesterol medicines, your diabetes medicines, and you'll actually benefit in the long run, have a better winter, and then you can blossom into spring as far as some new activity you've adopted. But the idea again is, for those people who suffer or have had a family history of seasonal affective disorder, if you wait until all the leaves have fallen and it's just pure cold, you might or might not fare well. If you get ahead of that and prepare just for 2 to 3 weeks, it might get you to a point where you can get into deep winter and not be as exposed to massive changes in your disease process, or at least those symptoms of seasonal affective disorder if they're going to hit you for the first time.